What's going on, everybody? Josh Engleman for Awesemo.com, and this is my DraftKings Showdown breakdown for Monday Night Football's game between the Rams and the Bears. Now be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all of our other content goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman so you can get updates to these sims as we get closer to lock. Like tonight, for instance, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I will have updates to the sim results posted to my Twitter. You don't want to miss it. And finally, just let me know in the comments, who do you like at captain? Who do you like at utility? Who are your favorite fades? Let me know in the comments section who you're on for tonight. Some of the high level stuff for today. 130 points is the average score in the optimal lineup. 48,900 is the median salary spent. On average, there are 3.2 Rams and 2.8 Bears in the optimal. Rams are 6-point favorites tonight with a 45-point game total. That's enough of the wholesale stuff. Let's dive into the captains. All right, starting it off at captain, and we don't have ownership yet, so this is just raw results, and captain is super efficient today. Jared Goff leads us off. He is the highest likelihood of being in the captain spot in the optimal, but it's just 16% of the time, which means 84% of the time it's somebody else. Allen Robinson shows up 14%. Cooper Kupp, 14%. Robert Woods, 13%. David Montgomery, 10%. Nick Foles, 9%. It is really, really difficult to separate these guys. You know, obviously you prefer Goff to Foles, but it's going to depend a little bit on ownership. Ultimately, those first 6 guys, Goff, Robinson, Foles, Kupp, Woods, Montgomery, they make up the large majority of likely captains. There's not a ton to separate them because you gain so much from saving the salary from someone like David Montgomery to go a little bit more expensive at the flex spot. So I can't just give any individual plays in that range. I think Darrell Henderson is probably going to be a little over-owned, but we'll talk about that later. If you want to get out of that huge pay-up tier, Rams defense shows up in the optimal 3% of the time. Might want to take a look there. That's a real long shot option, though. That's more of a 150 max type play. Darnell Mooney, almost 4% of the time. Sam Sloman, 4%. Cairo Santos, 2.5%. You're really digging the bottom of the barrel. It is very likely that the captain for tonight is from David Montgomery up. If I'm just going in order of how often they do it, we're going Goff, Kupp. We're going Goff, Robinson, Kupp, Woods, Montgomery, then Nick Foles. We'll talk about Nick Foles in a second. I hope that sound wasn't bad because I just poked my microphone while I was talking. Now, as we go to the utility spot, this is where the quarterbacks start to rise. Jared Goff is the top captain. He is also the top utility option. 10,400. He's the highest projected guy. He shows up in the optimal utility 55% of the time. We're talking about 70% of the time Jared Goff is in the optimal lineup. Similarly, while Foles isn't as popular in the captain spot, he is as popular in the utility spot. He is one of 2 guys, just he and Goff, showing up north of 50%. Foles in the optimal 52% of the time at utility. Then we take a step back. Robinson, Kupp, Woods, Montgomery, Henderson, all in the 30s-ish with a chance to be in the optimal. So you're looking at probably needing 2 of those guys, maybe 3. You're probably picking one of the 2 quarterbacks, probably 2 or 3 of the rest of those guys at the top. Montgomery shows up most, 42%. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, both in the high 30s. Someone like Darrell Henderson is in the low 30s, but either way, we're talking about 1/3-ish options. You're gonna need to cycle through them. As we work our way down, Darnell Mooney shows up 28% of the time. Sam Sloman, 28% of the time. This is where you're going to start to see the salary savings. You're going to need to hit probably 1 or 2 of these guys. I would recommend Mooney and Sloman first. I think Josh Reynolds and Anthony Miller both show up in the optimal about 20% of the time. So if you're playing a 20 max, for instance, you could probably get away with, 4, 5, even 6 lineups with an Anthony Miller, a Josh Reynolds, a Malcolm Brown, a Cairo Santos, or save even more money, go to $1,400. Cordarrelle Patterson shows up in the optimal at utility 16% of the time. That's more than enough for you in a 20 max scenario. I don't mind going there. If you're playing a 3 max, having a lineup with Cordarrelle Patterson, I think looks pretty good. You save a lot of money. It allows you to get to the more frequent options of Goff and Foles, and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to hit the optimal. He gives you a pretty good chance to do it if you want to save some salary. Now, I don't have ownership, so it's really hard to talk about fades. I think Nick Foles will likely be over-owned at the captain spot relative to his odds. I would much rather have him at utility. I don't think the ownership holds the same pace. I'm guessing Darrell Henderson ends up a little bit over-owned. That's not a direction I want to go. But if he happens to have less than 6% ownership in the captain spot, it'll look a little bit better. I don't really have any other major fades at captain until we get ownership. If we head to utility, I'm guessing Allen Robinson goes a little over-owned, but that's just a guess as of right now. He still shows up in 36% of lineup, so he's not like a 0% guy, but I can see being a little lighter there. Jimmy Graham, Tyler Higbee, Rams D, Bears D, Gerald Everett. This range from 48,000 to 72,000, or 4,800 to 7,200. God, if we had that much money, we wouldn't be making lineups. From Gerald Everett to Jimmy Graham, it's kind of a no man's land. You might see one guy come out of there in the optimal, but it's a really bad salary tier. There are just significantly better options below and significantly better options above that I don't expect to be in that range all that often. I really do hope I can get to Cordarrelle Patterson. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up a bit too much ownership. His projection of 5.6 fantasy points looks good, but I can see that being a more owned spot than what I'm showing. We'll know more at 7 p.m. tonight when I drop my updates. Alrighty, folks, that will do it. That is the DraftKings Showdown breakdown for Monday Night Football, Rams and Bears. One last time, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when it goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman for updates, and let me know in the comments, who do you like at captain, who do you like at utility? Find the link somewhere around here for the FanDuel version of this video. Good luck tonight. I'll be back again for Thursday Night Football, I guess. Have fun, everybody.